Hey guys, it's Doc, and today I'm going to do a Bermuda grass calendar that's quick and easy to use, so hold on. Hey guys, it's Doc, and today I'm going to do a video on a Bermuda grass calendar that's easy to use, that you don't have to sit around and watch a video for an hour to learn everything. I'm going to put it up by months or group of months, and I'm going to walk through it. Easy, quick to use. Main thing I want you to do is, if you are in a neighborhood and your neighbors' lawns aren't looking that great either, share this with your neighbors, share it with your friends, share it with your homeowners association. This is very easy to do, and I'm going to keep it really simple. In other words, I'm just going to tell you things that you can do by going to Lowe's or Home Depot. Simple products. I'm not going to go into a bunch of complex things. Also, this is all based on university studies, not just my experience, but university studies. It's a pretty basic calendar. I've probably thrown a few things that I like to do in my lawn, since I have the world's greatest Bermuda lawn. Now, before we begin, one thing I do want to, you're going to hear with me through this video saying that Preemergent is God's gift to Bermuda grass. I want you to understand that. Using a Preemergent for weed control is one of the best things you can do. I do it a lot. I do it 3 to 4 times a year, put out Preemergent. Why? Bermuda can be a little bit sensitive, especially in heavy heat times, to weed control and weed killers. So you want to avoid putting those on as much as possible. I really want you to use a Preemergent and use it more than they say to use it. They say it lasts up to 6 months. Do it every 3 months. I put mine out almost every 3 months and have almost no weeds whatsoever now. Especially my crabgrass is gone. My poana is gone. This yard was infested with poana, which is horrible in the springtime. But Preemergent has cured all that. Whether you use a granular or whether you use a liquid, 3 or 4 times a year, put out your Preemergent. All right, so I might look at some notes here just so I stay in line with the track that I'm going on. But let's start with December, January, and February. The good thing is December, January, and February, pretty much depending on where you are, your lawn is asleep. Your Bermuda grass is dormant. You're not going to do anything. There's nothing you can do to your lawn, to your ground, that's going to help your Bermuda grass because it's asleep. It's Rip Van Winkle. You got it? It is just closed out. It's gone. Your Bermuda grass is done. Don't do anything to it other than just treat for weeds. That's the main thing you want to do. You want to make sure you have Preemergent down. If you see any weeds coming up, go ahead. And the nice thing about this time of the year is that you can put out weed killer real strong and heavy and not worry about hurting your Bermuda grass. Matter of fact, I know people that actually use Roundup during this time. They know that their lawn is dormant. They know it's dormant. They come out and spray Roundup on that Bermuda grass. So you can really treat heavy for weeds during that time. But don't do anything else. Don't put any winterizer down. Don't do any aeration. Don't do anything. Just keep your lawnmower on a high setting and just pick up the weeds off of it, basically. Or excuse me, the leaves and debris off of it. All right, so let's move right into March and April, because March and April are the workhorse months. March and April are the absolute key months for good Bermuda grass. This is the time that Bermuda is going to start to actually come up. This is when we're going to really kind of push the growth of Bermuda to really develop strong green growth on top and actually build up that root system. So this is the critical time. March and April are your critical times. And I will probably say, depending on where we're in Georgia, but depending on where you are in the country, I would say probably late March, early April. You just want to make sure that your freezes are pretty much gone at this time before you start doing this stuff. Again, you do not want to push Bermuda until you start to see about 50% green on your grass. You got it? So that's when you're going to want to put down any fertilizers. Okay, so about this time of the year, come March and April, you're going to start to see little green sprigs. You can look for it. You can see the green sprigs coming up. That's a good sign. When you start to see a lot of those sprigs come up, that's the time you have to scalp. This is the biggest mistake that people don't make with Bermuda grass, is they don't scalp their grass. Or they just take it down a little bit. Look, your Bermuda grass is going to die and it's going to be all brown, okay? You have got to take it down almost to dirt. I mean, take it down as low as you can. All that stuff on top above the soil is dead. It's completely dead. You're going to have new sprouts come up that you're going to be focused on. So again, everything above the ground is dead. You understand that? It's all dead, it's worthless, just take it off. I personally pay someone to come do this for me. I have a couple yard guys, I have them come, they put on the baggers and they mow it and they scalp my entire lawn. If they don't do a good enough job, then I'll go back and finish it up. But man, it's a lot of clippings. I mean, it's a whole truckload of clippings sometimes. But if you leave brown Bermuda grass, let's say you leave it about an inch and a half tall, you've got to see the green on your grass. That's got to grow up above that, and that's too tall. We want to keep Bermuda grass anywhere from 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a half tall. So we need to remove all the brown, that ugly brown. We need to remove that from the lawn. So that's why we scalp, and we scalp every single spring. As soon as we start to get a lot of green sprouts coming around, that's when we're going to scalp. That's step number 1. Do not put down granular fertilizer or granular treatments before you scalp. Why? Because you're going to be picking up the clippings and you'll be picking up that fertilizer. Make sense? So step number 1, as soon as you start to see those sprigs, is you're going to go ahead and scalp your entire lawn. Step number 2, you're going to look, and if you've got more than half an inch of thatch, those dead clippings, that mushy stuff on your lawn, you probably want to dethatch your lawn. I like to dethatch right after I scalp. I usually don't have to do it now because I actually bag most of my clippings, so I really don't have a problem with it. But you want a little bit on there, but not more than half an inch for sure, because you'll get some rot in there. Then the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put down a fertilizer after you've done that. So you got a lot of these, 50% you got lots of these little green sprouts. You've got temperatures above 65 degrees pretty consistently now. And that's when you're going to put down your fertilizer. Your springtime fertilizer, I think it's like a 4:1:2 ratio. So let's say maybe, I wrote it down here. If you want to convert that, it's like a 25:10. So a 25:10 you're going to want to put down in a granular. And I'll tell you what I do. Some people aren't going to like this, but I'm going to put down a 25:10, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out with a spray bottle of just fertilizer, just basically 30-0-0-0, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go real quickly, real lightly all over my whole lawn. The reason being is I want nitrogen to really get in to push that growth strong. I don't want to wait for the rain, because the rain's going to have to get into the granulars and push that into the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down my normal 25:10. I'm going to put that out granular, but then I'm going to go right back on top of it. If I know I'm not going to get rain for 4 or 5 days, I'm going to go right back out with a bottle of nitrogen, of lawn fertilizer you buy at Lowe's, and just real quickly just go over the whole lawn and get some more nitrogen down. I really want to push this lawn at this time of the year. Again, this is the time of year that if you do not have Preemergent put down in the past 2 to 3 months, put some more Preemergent down. Put the Preemergent down. Should you aerate your lawn? Not really during this time. I would wait to aerate until the active growing season, maybe closer to June. That's when you want to aerate a lawn. You really don't want to do that right now. Just leave it, because you'll be pulling up some of those roots when you do this, and you want an actively growing lawn. So I'd wait for the aeration if you're going to plug aerate. Just hold off on that right now. So that's March, April. Again, depending on your zone, when temperatures get above 65 degrees, that's when you're going to want to do this stuff. And I'll tell you right now, you're going to want to do most of this all at once. So you're going to go out there and you're going to plant it. You're going to have the guys show up, have the crew show up and scalp it, or do it yourself. Right after you scalp it, check and see if it needs to be dethatched. Then go ahead and then put down your fertilizers. Then you'll be just wonderful on there. Again, I want to stress that late March and early April are the times that I become obsessive with my lawn. That's the time that I really, really want to push it, because that's the time when temperatures are not going to be scorching hot. I don't have to worry about burning out my lawn, but it's really going to want to start to grow, and I want it to grow real thick and fast. Okay, let's move on to May and June. May and June, they say put down fertilizer every 6 weeks. I do mine every 4 weeks. And when I go into May and June, I move out of the 4:1:2 ratio, and then I go to something like a 30:0:5. I like to put down a 30:0:5 during the normal growing months. And I put down a light coat. I'll say that again. I put down a light coat every 3 weeks. The reason being is if I get a thunderstorm and a lot of that fertilizer will wash off, I'd rather do multiple light coats than I would strong coats. Hope that makes sense. This is also a time of year that you're going to watch for bugs. You're going to want to watch for bugs, for larvae inside your lawn. A lot of times crows or moles, you walk out on your lawn, you see all these little holes, like these thumb holes in your lawn, and you're like, what's going on here? Someone came by and spiked my whole lawn. Now that's usually either crows or moles out there digging up the grubs. And if you have that, you want to go ahead and get a spray for it. They make it at Lowe's. Spray it on your lawn. Every late spring, I do mine anyways, because I've got depression areas that stay really wet and I have bad grub problems, so I've got to do mine every year. This is also the time of year, we're in June, so we're going to be getting a lot of rain. It's going to be moist, and you're going to get temperatures going up, and this is the time you're going to have to watch out for lawn funguses. I do my fungus treatment anytime I get into a long, damp, moist, hot period. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get a fungus spray, and I'm going to treat my lawn. This past year, every single lawn in our neighborhood had lawn fungus except for one. Mine. Simply because I did it in advance. I went ahead and treated my lawn. They had silver dollar spots, they had dollar spots, they had horrible funguses. Just, it looked horrible. I may even put a picture of that up. But I was the only lawn that did not have fungus because I preventatively actually put some down. I put mine down as soon as I started seeing those warm, moist temperatures beginning of June. I went ahead and treated my lawn. Let's talk about cutting your Bermuda grass starting at this point and going forward through the summer. If you have hybrid Bermuda grass, majority of houses have hybrid. If you're in a subdivision that's been built in the past 10-15 years, you're probably going to have a hybrid Bermuda. It's going to be 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch long. I did a video, check it further back, about how long to cut your grass. If you don't have the right equipment, you may not be able to get it that short, so maybe keep it an inch, inch and a half. Bermuda likes to be short, short, short. Remember that. Short Bermuda, short Bermuda, short Bermuda. Do not let me catch you growing your Bermuda grass 3, 4, and 5 inches long in June, July, and August. Don't let me catch you doing that. You're going to want to keep it short. And when you're pushing this, you may have to cut your lawn every 4 days. Every 4 to 5 days during this period, you may have to cut your lawn. Sorry, but that's just the way it goes. You're going to be pushing it. You're going to really try and get this lawn to thicken up, and you got to keep cutting it. All right, let's talk about July and August. July and August, go to the pool, cut your grass. That's pretty much it. You really don't want to do a whole bunch. Maybe put down a little fertilizer during that time. But again, cut as needed. You do not want to be cutting long Bermuda down short. You're going to get ugly looks. You're going to want to cut it probably at least every week, if not every 5 days. If you have not had rain for an entire week, you need to go ahead and put water on your lawn, run a sprinkler system, or put water. If you have a clay soil, I put how to water. I have a video up on that. If you have a heavy clay soil, you're going to want to water. Put it down about 50% of your water, stop, come back, wait about half an hour, put down the other 50%. Clay soils, water will just run off, and that's why you want to separate it. So really watch your lawn, watch for stress out periods. That's when you want. If I don't have rain for an entire week, I got to run my sprinkler systems. But that's pretty much it for June and July. All right, September. This is another important month of the year. Besides March, April-ish, late March, early April, I think September is probably one of the other important times of the year because it's your last chance to make it healthy before it goes to sleep. So what I do is I put up a video that I put up you can put up a 20-10-10, or sometimes use a 10-10-10. I really want to put nutrients on my lawn. I want to go to a 20-10-10 or something like that. Anyways, watch that other video about September that I have. But this is the time where you can get nutrients and get that root system healthy. It's not the grass you're trying to get healthy. You're trying to get the root system healthy so next year it comes up. The other thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put down Preemergent. And this is the time of year you're going to add about 1/2 inch to your grass height, late September. You're going to let it start to grow because it's not going to grow that much usually late September. So you're going to want to let it come up. If you have 1 inch Bermuda, you're going to let it go to 1.5. If you have 1.5, let it come up to 2. Personally, I'm letting mine come up to 2.5. What that's going to do is that's going to give me, when it goes dormant, it's going to give me that light brown fuzzy look that's about 2.5 inches tall. It's just real pretty that way. Remember, it's going to die and turn brown, so that's what it's going to look like. That's why let it grow up a little bit this time of year. It starts to cool down, let it grow up a little bit taller. Some people say it's for insulation. It really doesn't insulate a whole lot. It's actually just the look. You don't want to have a scalp lawn all through winter. That's going to look ugly. What I like is, it's sort of like a haircut. What do I want my hair to look like? My hair is going to stop growing in September, and that's how long my hair is going to be for the whole winter time. Put that mindset. So my hair is going to be this long for the next 6 months. Do I really want to shave it all off or cut it real short, or do I want to get it the way that I want it to look all the time? Think of it that way, okay? October, we've already talked about September. Again, make sure you put down a pre-emergent. October, you're pretty much just sitting around enjoying your lawn. You're really not going to do anything. You're just waiting for your lawn to go dormant. That's it. Because that's the last chance. September really was the last chance. If you're having a warm October, like we are right now, we've had 80-degree temperatures all the way through September and October. It's been crazy. So actually, we could put down some additional fertilizers if we want a couple of weeks ago. But this October is the time of year. You get into October, November, you're just sort of sitting around. Your lawn's ready to go dormant or about to go dormant. You're not going to do anything for it. So that's pretty much it. Remember, guys, wintertime, you don't do anything positive. That's a good way to look at it. Don't do anything positive to your lawn, only do negatives. So you're going to kill weeds that come up. You're going to do pre-emergent, which is a negative. Pre-emergent stops seeds from sprouting, basically. So that you do all your negatives while your lawn is in dormancy. You're not going to do anything to your lawn all wintertime long until temperatures hit above 65 degrees pretty consistently, and you start to see little sprigs, a lot of, not just in one area, but you start to see a lot of little sprigs of Bermuda starting to come up. That's when you're going to want to kick in and do your workhorse months, which is usually about late March, early April. You do not want to push Bermuda grass if there's a chance of a hard frost. It's not going to kill it, but it's just going to set it back. So you don't want to put down fertilizer too early. I know I'm dying to get my fertilizer out in the spring, but you just got to wait for it. So anyways, guys, that's the overall calendar. It's pretty easy. If you have any time during the year, you can put out a weed killer that's made for Bermuda grass, but I always use the hose end sprayer. Go out and do a hose end sprayer. You do not want to use that if it's super hot. It says right on there, don't use over 85 degrees. But that's where pre-emergents really come in, guys. Pre-emergents are just absolute key. If you have any crabgrass come up, I've got a crabgrass video. It shows you how to spot treat crabgrass instead of treat your whole lawn to kill it. And that's it. Remember, share this video, like the video, make sure you subscribe, and come back. I got several more videos coming up over the next couple weeks. Doc, how you doing?